Hi everybody, let me just find myself. Here we are. Right, Tuesday, this is a new departure for us. We normally do our lives on a Saturday and Sunday, but I thought that I would step it up a little bit and mix it up a little bit. And so today we're doing this series that we're going to call Tutorial Tuesday. And it's going to be different things. It just really, I guess, kind of depends what I'm working on at the time. So I can bring you along and share with it. And what I'm working on at the moment is this. It's a file folder. That's the cover. Beautiful My Porch print images, they really are. And then there's Poppy out of my book. I'll show you my book. Wildflowers of the World. It's really large and it's absolutely packed full of just the most beautiful images from, as it says, all around the world. So I've used this book in quite a few of my journals, but you know, as you can see, there's still loads more to go. And Mr. Fix-It found me another one in a charity shop the other day, so I can use it with relative impunity now. So that's a page out of there, and on the back there I've just got a big journaling card. I've had to fold that over because it's so large, and I've sewn all the way around it. And this is the page that we're going to be concentrating on today because I'm making a duplicate album. Well, I say duplicate, it kind of will be, but it won't be the same patterns. It will be blue, because the last time when I made a lilac one, lavender one, everybody wanted it and there was only one. So I'm going to try and make two. I'm going to try and make two in blue, two in pink, and two in green. And let's see how far I get with that plan. But this is today's tutorial. So let's get cracking. So this is the cover of the other one. And I've used white here. I used blue lace in the last one, just to make it a little bit different. And this hopefully should be just about all we need to make our page. I think I've been quite organised, and those of you that know me will know I'm not normally that organised. But I've tried really hard. So this is the page that we're going to use. It comes out of, well actually it doesn't, it comes out of there. And this is the page from the book I've just shown you. They're beautiful, aren't they? They really are. So for ease of working on, I'm going to remove this. Now I'm using A3 paper, and I forget what that's called in America. Something like tabloid, I think, comes to mind. But it's twice the size of the normal copier paper. This is the normal copier paper, and the A3 is, which we call A4, and the A3 is double that size. I've had to trim it down a little bit to get it to fit in the journal, but this A3 paper is ostensibly 2 times our normal copier size.
It's called ledger or tabloid.
Ledger or tabloid. Okay, so that's this,
which is 11 by 17.
11 by 17. That's, you know, that's the comparable size if you are in America. I am lucky. I have a printer that prints on that. We bought it second hand. I'm loath to say this in case I jinx it. We bought it second hand 10 years ago, would you say? Yeah, about that. And the lady then was, when we went to buy it, she was apologising because it was so old. And we've used it. We used it when I was doing my degree, and then it just got put on the shelf for about 6 years, 7 years, something like that. And it's only recently that I remembered we had it, and I got it out. And, you know, it just worked. Even the ink wasn't dry in it. I mean, it was ridiculous. It just worked. So I'm lucky to have that, as I say, secondhand and very old, but it still works. However, for this exact page, you don't need that. Right, so as you could see in the other one, we had pockets staggered down the page, kind of like that. And what I've done is I've used envelopes. So these are pockets in themselves here. They're not just cards stuck on the paper. They are actual envelopes. And this is one of the envelopes that I've got, and I'll give you the measurements for it. It's 6 1/4 by 4 1/2, or in centimetres, it is just over 16 by just over 11, but nearly 11 1/2. So what we're going to do is stick the flap down first, because we're not going to use that flap for this project. So how's everybody doing today? I can tell you here in the very northwest of England, it's one of the nicest days we've had this summer. It's absolutely beautiful. And when I finish doing the live, we're off out and about. We need a couple of groceries from the grocery shop, and I've got a parcel to post back to Carrie Roberts, who kindly she found a gorgeous old magazine, and she sent it to Mr. Fix-It so he could scan it in, and she could share all the images with everybody on our group, our Miss Paintalot's Junk Journal group over on Facebook. So I've got to post that back to her, so it's a good excuse to get out and about. Right, so I've glued this shut, so ostensibly what we've got now is a closed up envelope. And what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to take a thinnest sliver down the opposite end to the end that we've just glued up. So just get my ruler. Now really it's the thinnest sliver that you can manage, okay? Like that. Now, for those of you that are new to watching me, that don't normally catch me at the weekends, my preferred method of cutting is using quilting rulers and a rotary cutter. I find that I get a much more precise cut using those. They're expensive to get started with. These quilting rulers aren't cheap, but they're a great investment, I think. So let's just check that we've opened that up. We have, and I've just got a little bit here that needs gluing down. So just put a little dab of glue in there just to hold it. It really doesn't need much, but it'll irritate us otherwise. A little bit in there. So there we are. Now then, the next thing to do is to measure. I'm going to use this ticking paper from my porch prints. I love ticking. I mean, I just love it. It's just one of my most favourite things. So that's going to kind of go there. That's kind of going to go there. And we're going to use ticking for the one in the middle. And I want the stripes to be going up and down, because I don't think it looks right if they're that way. You know, you probably will be using entirely different papers. These papers came from Liana Scrap, and I've had some nice papers from her actually over the months. Nice usable papers, and they're pretty. So I'm sure that you've got plenty though in your stash, really. So I'm going to be using this, and I'm going to be using it up and down. So I'll just cut out the measurements that I want, and I'm going to use my envelope to tell me where to cut it. So I'm just going over, I'm putting my envelope just over the edge of that paper, and I'm going to mark it just within the edge there. So I'm making it slightly smaller than the envelope, and I'm going to do the same thing here. Put the envelope slightly over the edge of the paper and mark it just a tiny little bit in from the edge of the envelope. So the design paper is going to be slightly smaller than the envelope. Right, let's chop that off then. If I can see my marks, there we are. And this is when a quilting ruler really comes into its own, because I've got one mark, and if I just had a ruler, I could make it, you know, I could go really wrong, is what I'm trying to say, because I haven't got a straight eye in my head. But with the quilting ruler, I can get my mark on there, and I can see all the way along that it's straight with that line there. So I can't really go wrong, which for me is a very good thing. So that's a good scrap, don't throw that away. And then we'll just, there's that mark there. So we'll line our ruler up there, and we'll get a line along the bottom that's straight. And once again, then we should be absolutely square. So I'm on the mark there, I'm straight according to the marks along here, and actually I'm straight according to the marks there. So it's a kind of double, triple way of checking that you're doing all right. And I'm going to look a real fool now, aren't I, if I put this to the envelope and it's all wonkety wonk. But we shouldn't be, we should be fine. So there we are, it's just within, you can still see the margin of the envelope around it, and that is, as we hope for, just lying within the envelope itself. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ink this envelope quite heavily. I don't mind seeing a little bit of the white, but I don't want to see a lot of it. So I'm just going to ink it quite heavily in from the edge. Shall I have a roll call?
If you want a roll call, my dear.
Let's have a roll call.
Bear with me, because for some reason my live chat's not on my big screen. So.
Oh, no.
Cindy.
Hi, it's Cindy Phillips.
Yes.
Cindy has been doing for us an ephemera folder. And she's done it herself in her own time and, used all her own stuff. And it's off on its travels around the US. And whoever gets it, and I know who's going to get it, but I'm not going to say anything, they will then remove all the ephemera that's in it. That's theirs to keep, the lucky duckies. And then they will fill it up, hopefully again, with ephemera they've made and send it off to somebody else. Now, we're not sending it across continents. We have one in this, in the UK and Europe, can I say, made by the lovely Pat Fleet, that is also doing its rounds. I think Angela Wilson's got it at the moment. So that will be, I'm just going to ink this up as well whilst I'm chitter-chattering. So if you want to catch up with that, leave your address on the file in the group. Pop over to Miss Paintalot's Junk Journal group. You'll find that you can leave your address with us and we'll add it to the rack list. And then you're in with the possibility of receiving that ephemera, which is a lovely thing to receive. Okay, sorry, Mr. F, to interrupt you.
That's all right. Ros.
Hi, Ros.
Lynn Whitman.
Hello, Lynn.
Kerry Betts.
Hello, Kerry. Nice to see you.
Shaz.
Hi, Shaz. I knew you wouldn't be here over the weekend. Take second place to Lewis Hamilton.
Kerry.
Kerry. Hello, Kerry. Your package is being sent after the live, so it should be with you fairly soon, I think.
Ellen.
Hello, Helen.
Maureen.
Hello, Maureen.
Mabel.
Hello, Mabel.
Flo.
Hello, Flo.
Candice.
Hello, Candice.
Shimmery.
Hi, Shimmery.
Nancy.
Hello, Nancy.
Pat Rutherford.
Hello, Pat.
Janet Ann.
Hi, Jan.
And I think that's your lot.
Well, welcome everybody. I really wasn't expecting you all to turn out today, so I'm very grateful to you for that. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to sew around that. I obviously can't sew it onto here, otherwise we would no longer have a pocket. So I'm going to sew it because I want that look, and then I'm going to stick it down onto there. So off to the sewing machine. So I think we've probably lost a few because it's kind of work time, isn't it?
Yes, we have 27 viewers at present.
So often we have more than that, so it's but hopefully they'll catch us back. You know, once it's on YouTube, isn't it?
There forever.
Well, till the sun explodes.
Well, you'll be there for the next 5 billion years then.
I'll be there after I've gone.
You are my son.
Oh, how lovely. What a sweetheart. We've had a day today, Mr. F and myself. We just can't get going. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's because it's warm and we're not used to that. I don't know, but we're just, we're lacking vim, vigour and pep. And if you do crosswords all the time, those words pop up all the time. Don't they, Mr. F?
They do.
Vim, vigour and pep. And that's what we have got none of today. Right-o, so I'm just going to stick this onto here. Just want to make sure, make sure the top is at the top. This has obviously got no pattern on it. But where my stitches have joined, I'm going to put that up there because there's another envelope coming in here and that'll just hide that little bit of nonsense. So I'm just going to use Aileen's tacky glue. Good for paper to paper. And I always try and run a bead along the stitches because that's kind of the bit that's always a bit resistant. So, Kerry, can I just say, all the things that you sent us, the goodies, oh my goodness, they were divine. And we really, really enjoyed them. And we made a bit of a sort of ceremony out of each, you know, when we ate them and drank the coffee and stuff. So it wasn't just, oh, let's have a Kerry coffee. It was, you know, let's sit down, let's really enjoy this, which we did. And thanks very much. Greatly, greatly appreciated it. Right, so this wants to go just, you know, just in the margins of where I showed you where I'd cut it. Down just a touch. Ooh, cup of coffee, thank you very much. And wants to go across that way a bit. Come on, you can do it. You can move if you try hard enough. Come on, over you go to there. That's fine, that's fine, that's fine. I would have preferred it slightly further over there, I must be honest. But that's where it is. So I'm just going to squish it down with my fancy new bone folder. And I'm going to put additional ink down that side to try and disguise my faux pas. And it won't look too bad, I don't think. Look at that. It's like it never happened. There we go, that's fine. Right, so next, well, let's get the page out. Just leave that to dry a little bit. When you've sewn around things, it does really always sort of need encouragement right round the edge. But that's fine. Right, so here's our journal page. Now I've decided to change it slightly from the one that I did, and I've used these two Tim Holtz die cuts that I'm going to put in the corners. I like them. I hope they're going to work. But I'm going to do a mock-up of the page now and see if they look nice or nasty. That's going to go down there. It's just when I had the envelopes going up the page, I sort of had two empty bits here. So I thought I'd give that a go and see what that looks like. So I'll put, which is the nicest one? I'll put this one down here. Down there. This one sort of here. It's just a mock-up, see what it looks like. And that one there. Well, I quite like that actually. I quite like that. And we've got butterflies as well. Just, you know, small little butterflies here. So, yeah, I do quite like that. It's nice. If you know, if you haven't got these dies, and to be honest, they're not the dies that go to, they're not the most used dies in my die box. You could stamp very, very easily. You could stamp in these places, and that might even look better, to be honest. But that's what I'm gonna go for. I quite like that idea. So I'm gonna do that and stick them down first. Let's leave that one over there just to dry. So this is going to be a bit of a fiddle to get this glued. But never mind, here goes. I want it glued around the outside, that's for sure. And just some little dots in the middle somewhere.
One of them dotty snails is probably the ideal thing.
There's so many big holes in here though, I think. You know what I mean?
More miss than hit.
More, yeah, I think so. It won't take long. It's not a job I dislike this, actually. I don't know why. Some jobs you got to do that. But this isn't one of them. And I realise it doesn't make very hot viewing. Appreciate that. Just bear with me and we'll get there. How many of you have actually got Sizzix machines? You know, I don't know, when I talk about dies, I don't know whether the majority of you have Sizzix or very few of you have Sizzix. Could you just let me know in the comments there if you've got a Sizzix or not? I'd just be interested to know.
Or one of those electronic cutting.
Yeah, or some cutting device. So I'm using my dry wet wipe, which is ostensibly, as Mr. F pointed out, a wipe. And it was brought to my attention by Tina from Shabby Dabby Doodah as the perfect thing. It picks up the glue, but it doesn't leave any lint or anything. And if you're using a wet wipe, as they come out the pack, even on coffee stained paper, it does mark it. So a dry wet wipe is the way forward, girls and guys. I realised on Saturday I'd be referring to us all as ladies and girls, and that we actually had a gent watching. So I'm very sorry, Mike. I didn't know you were with us. But if you watch this on Watchback, humble apologies. I won't do it again. I mean, he didn't say anything. He could have said something if he'd been really offended. But I won't. I'll try not to say ladies in future. Try and be a bit more inclusive.
People. Just call you people.
I'll just call you people, yeah. Hello, people. Has anybody got a Sizzix, are they saying, or they haven't, or...
No. Nancy says she's got two, one with a crank and one electric.
Oh, I'll get you, Nancy.
And Flo says Flo hasn't, but she's got the AccuQuilt fabric cutting system.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Do you do more quilting than paper crafting, Flo? I used to do quilting all the time. It was my business. I did baby quilts, personalised ones, you know, with their names on and where they were born and how much they weighed and who their godparents were, etc., etc. So there we are, we've got those corner pieces on. Actually, I really do like them. I know they were a bit of a pain for you to sit and watch me put them on, but I've done it now. So let's have a mouthful of this nice coffee.
Lynn says you can call them friends.
Friends! That's a really good... Well done, Lynn. Look what I found in my drawer today, talking of Lynn.
And Janet says she's got a cut and boss.
Oh, fair enough. Right, so we've got our envelopes. Let's get them on in the right place. So this one's going down here, and I'm going to put it about there. You can see where it is with the stitching. So it's kind of just within the stitching, so as you can still see it. This one's going to go at the top in a similar sort of place, just keeping away from the where we're going to sew the signature in. So that's going to go about there. Now I know, as I say, I'm doing mine on A3, but the same kind of rules apply if you're doing it on A4. What you need to do is measure how much it is from the bottom of here to the bottom of there. And in this instance, it's 4.5. So I want this envelope to slot in at 2 1/4. So I want it to go in there. I'm going to mark 2 1/4. And this measurement here, from here to here, we need to half. So this measurement on mine is, 2 3/4, let's say. So that's 1 7/8, is it? 2 3/4.
2 3/4 is 6/8, so it's 3/8, so it's 1 3/8, isn't it? No.
1 3/8 plus the half, so it's 1 7/8.
Yeah.
Yeah. So 1 7/8, which is there.
What did you say? It's 2 and...
It's two, oh yeah, it's 2 3/4.
Yeah.
So half of 2 is 1, half of 3/4
So
is 3/8. 1 3/8. Yeah, sorry. 1 3/8. Right. So that's as far across. So all I've done is I've put my 2 envelopes where I want them. This is the only tricky bit of the whole thing, right? So I've really placed my envelopes exactly where I want them, friends. And I have measured the distance from there to there and halved it and put a mark, and from the edge of this one to the edge of that one and halved it. So that's there. So what that tells me is that this envelope will go there, go up to that mark and down to that mark, and that will be exactly halfway, exactly where we want it. Like that. So that's the only tricky bit. It's the only measuring business really of the whole thing. So let's get these stuck down then. So let's make sure that we've got this part, the opening part, facing outwards. That's a pretty good rule to follow actually. So I'm going to bring it down almost onto the stitching.
And outwards in this instance being on the right hand side.
Yeah, outwards is the edge of your page, which, you know, if we were doing this page, this would be outwards because this would be the edge of my page. So outwards meaning outwards.
Away from the spine.
Yep.
Just clarifying for me.
So let's stick that down onto there. It's just one further check. Yeah, that's it. So I'm just going to write on here out. And that's outwards, because believe me, it's really easy to stick inside out and upside down and whatever else. If you can do it, I've done it, and I'd like to bet that if we're being honest, most of us have stuck the wrong thing to the wrong thing. And in this instance, it wouldn't be absolutely dire because all I've done to this page is put the die cuts on. But when you're doing the sort of fourth side of a double spread, and you do something wrong and you've really wrecked it, oh, you want to cry. There usually is a way of fixing it, but sometimes it looks a bit clumsy. So I'm using Fabri-Tac for this. You could have used double-sided as well. So out is out. That's clearly written for me. So I'm just going to place that down. Come on, don't be silly. Down there. Lovely, good job. Smooth it down. Get my fancy bone folder out.
Mabel says she's got an X-cut.
Oh, X-cut. I wonder what they're like. Does it cut dies, Mabel? I'm sorry to be thick, but I'm not really sure what that is. Sounds a bit like X-Men. Right, there we are. So the next one...
Similar thing to the Sizzix, really, I think.
Is it? Okay. So this is our opening. So I'm just going to write on here out. You could write opening, you could write anything you like. And you could, if you wanted to, put double-sided all the way around it. That would work, equally as well. You could put double-sided and Fabri-Tac if you want to be extremely certain of things. But I think in this instance, this is fine. It's only going to hold a journaling card.
Lynn Whitman loves the layout.
Oh, thank you, Lynn.
And Carrie says page is looking amazing.
Oh, thank you,
And
guys.
Shaz says she's got a big shot plus.
Yeah, I know you have, Shaz. And it's still bright and shiny. It's really sad the first time you use your big shot, even if you get new plates for it or whatever, because they just get marked. They get marked right from the get-go. And at first you think, oh, I've done something wrong, I've marked my plates. It's not. They that's them. They just are like that once you've used them. But you always feel like you've knocked the newness off it somehow. Right, so this says out this way. So just pop my finger in there and get this. See if I can get this spot on where I want it, which is there. Lovely. Give it a good press down. Don't want it moving at all. This ticking paper is from My Porch Prints, and as I said, this pretty blue is from Liana Scrap. There are so many kits on eBay and so much time to spend wasted
Etsy.
looking at them. Sorry?
Etsy.
On Etsy, yeah. What did I say?
eBay.
Ah, Lynn, yeah. This is Liana Scrap. Liana, Liana Scrap. And this is My Porch Prints. I can't remember what you call this, but she hasn't got that many, so I think that you'll find it. So this is the... I'll just put open on there. I get quite a few sort of coordinating kits from Liana Scrap. I don't know if you could make an entire journal. In fact, I'm pretty sure you'd be hard stretched to make an entire journal from one of her sets. You need something to go with it. The commission journal that I've just done, which you'll be seeing the flip through soon because it will be arriving, I believe, tomorrow in Connecticut. And once the lady's got it, then I can show you it. But it had Liana Scrap sunflowers in it, but I'd sort of pepped it up with some My Porch Prints stuff, of course, because I am My Porch Prints' best customer, I think. So, right. So we're guided here by the top, which is where the stitching is, and down there, just to meet up with where that die comes to. So there we are. Nice, nice, nice. I like that. I must say I haven't used blue a lot. I don't know why. I'd sort of fallen out of favour with it for some reason. And it was only when I was... Well, actually what it was, Steph at My Porch Prints introduced this set of blue ticking. And I just can't say no to ticking. I just can't. I'm drawn to it. So I bought the set of blue ticking, and then I thought, well, what on earth am I going to do with blue ticking? So I started looking around, mooching around for sets that would go with it, and then lo and behold, My Porch Prints brought out a set of shabby blue papers, which I mean just had to be bought also. And shabby blue ephemera. So that was where the blue came from. Right, so all of those now should be nicely stuck on, as I'm sure they are. Right, next thing is the journaling cards that go in them. And I've just said that My Porch Prints brought out an ephemera set. Now, in the ephemera set were these tags. I've printed mine on A3, so they're much bigger than they would be on A4. But, you know, you now have some computer skills. You could print them out, you know, split them up and print them out on... If you wanted that one, you could crop that out of this page of ephemera and blow it up in Word to the size that you want and print it out. You know how to do that. Mr. F's shown you how to do that. So there's some gorgeous ones. It's really done well with this set, I think. But I had these two images which weren't far out. I cut them down a little bit, and this one which I'm now going to cut down. And I put tags on the side, and I'll leave that one alone for a while because I've just glued it, and they just fit in nicely into there, like so. And this one should fit into here. Oh, it should do. Come on, yeah. They never do it when you're watching them. They have performance anxiety. I've just made that up. I've just made that up.
Why are you looking at me and laughing when you say that?
I don't know where it came from. It just jumped into my head. Oh my goodness me. Oh dear. Sorry about that. I don't even know what it means. I don't know. And I know people get white coat anxiety, essentially trying to backpedal out of something.
Some cul-de-sac you don't want to be in.
People get white coat anxiety and they go to the doctor who is wearing the white coat to see him. They get all anxious. He takes their blood pressure, it's off the charts, and gives them blood pressure medication when they don't actually need it unless they've actually seen the doctor. But I don't really know why I'm explaining that to either. Anyway.
You're trying to change the subject.
Oh yeah, could well be. So I've got this card here, but actually the card itself measures about 5 by 7. And I want mine to measure 6 by 4 to fit in with the envelope size I've got. Now, this is where yours will be different, because presumably your envelopes aren't going to be exactly this size. I don't even know where these envelopes came from. So you need to measure what's going to comfortably fit in within your envelope. And I tend to measure in, a little bit because I want them to go in and out quite easily. I don't want them to suffer from performance anxiety. So I'm cutting these ones at 6 by 4, and they'll, they slide in. Unless you're watching them, they slide in really nicely. So I'm just going to put that 2-inch marker right down through the centre of here, and then chop this card up, because you don't have to use it full size. It was a revelation to me when I realised I could actually chop my ephemera off. I want it to be 6 inches tall, so I can just about come to there. Yeah, be all right, I think, with this one.
You go around chopping things up and wonder why people have performance anxiety.
Oh no. Spend my day chopping things up. Right, so let's see what this looks like when it's cut down. Well, it looks lovely, doesn't it? I think that's really nice for a card that goes in, can't remember, tag. Right, so what we want to do is this is already on quite nice paper. It's on 160, so it's got quite a bit to it, but I do want to back it. I don't, for a start, well, that was a misprint, so I'm going to have to do something with it anyway. I prefer them when they're thick, to be honest, particularly the tags and journaling cards and that sort of thing. So I'm just going to glue it down to coffee stain paper. And then we can sew around it, not forgetting the little tag that goes on it. Oh, doesn't that look nice on coffee stain paper? Just stick that down firmly, cut around it. You all know how to make journaling cards, but if you don't, this is what I do. I stick it using just glue stick onto coffee stained paper. That way then the person can journal on the back of the card, and you're lending a bit more support, some strength to the card, so it can go in and out of the pocket more easily, and people can write on it without the indentations coming through to the front, which I always think looks a bit naff. So do your best at all times to make the journal nice and usable for the person, the end user. And don't forget, it is a journal. This is the thing that I think sometimes we do forget. We get all carried away with fancy-pancy schmancy stuff, and we don't leave anywhere for the person to actually write anything. So there we go. Let's ink around there. Quite a lot of ink on here. I don't know why, just feeling a lot of ink. I do love this ink. It's called Faded Jeans, and it's the perfect colour. Absolutely is. So if you're using any of the My Porch Prints blue sets, I can tell you, trial and experiment, I have come up with the right shade, and it's Faded Jeans. It's a perfect match. Because the other one that I thought was right was actually too, I can't remember what it's called now, but it was too turquoisey. Right, so we want to sew around that, but before we do, we want to put on our tag, and we want to just get that in the middle. So that measures just over 15, so just over 7 then. It's going to be the middle, and I'm just doing that just to,
Just over 7.5.
Just over 7.5.
Nearly 7.5.
Yeah, that's all right. I'm nearly at 7.5. 15 and a bit.
It's 7.5.
7.5 and a bit.
7.5 and half a bit.
Right, so it's there. That's the one. So if I just sort of, where's the middle of that? 2, that's the middle of that. So that goes there. You don't need to be quite this exact, people, but I can't help myself, okay? So that's where this is going to go, because it's too easy once you've got it glued to get wobbling around with it with the glue on. You don't really know where to put it, and with a project like this where they're all lying kind of exact, you do want it to be pretty exact. I want everything I do to be pretty exact. It's a bit of a flaw, I know that. This I know. So
more of a character trait, I'd say, than a flaw.
I could do without it sometimes. Sometimes it drives me bonkers. Because I'm so disappointed if I do something and it's not absolutely exact. And I can see it, it glares at me. And I've got to rectify it. Sometimes, you know, I'll say to Mr. F, can you see anything wrong with that page? No. Can you? Have another look. Look, can you see anything wrong? Don't I? And he said, no, I can't. And oh, well, it doesn't matter anyway. I know it's there. Right, so that one goes up to that mark. This one comes up to that mark. Make sure that they're where they should be. Push that in a little bit, push that in a little bit. There we are. Oh, lovely, lovely, lovely. Good when a plan comes together, isn't it, guys? So there we are, that's the tag on the side. And I'm just going to go and sew around it. This tag's come out nicely considering it's, you know, from within a tag. Oh, some chains off on one. So it's got to it. And when you sew over the tag, just visualise that bit in your mind. That's where you're heading for. So keep your foot straight and visualise where it's going to come out there. That's what I do. Or you could draw a line. Is another way of doing it. And then you would stay straight over your tag. So there we go. Let's chop those ends off. Let's go around this side and squish the stitches in. Right, so let's see if we did it right then. So this should go into there. No performance anxiety there. Oh well, maybe a little. No, perfect. There we are. So we've got our 3 perfectly in line tag things, perfectly in line corners. I'm happy with that so far. I really am. So now the only other thing that the well, it had a couple of things actually, I'm fibbing now. There's 2 more things to go on. There's these massive butterflies that are dies, but I'm sure that you could find some on Pinterest or whatever. And as I showed you the other day, I've got some that are Tim Holtz dies, and from a ephemera pack, a Tim Holtz ephemera pack, and you know, some of those are pretty gigantic, so you could use those. The yellow one, you know, there are options. There's this massive one here, so you don't have to use the you don't have to have a die, is what I'm saying. You know, they're nice as well, they really are. But I'm going to use the ones I've cut on the die machine. All right, Mr. F.
Yep. So, Tika says so pretty.
Tika, hiya. Nice to see you.
And Flo says she's like that with Amazon costumes. They have to be perfect.
I think you're either that way or you're not, aren't you, Flo? You know, and if you are, you might as well not fight it. because frankly you're not going to win.
And Nancy says it looks tailored.
Tailored, good. Right, so the butterflies, what I did with them was I got my ink. I'll just put them nicely on there so they don't fall over. And I used one of my fancy new makeup brushes. Thank you, Hilda, who sent me a pack of them. And I just sort of went round them just to give them a bit of definition, really. So here goes, let's give it a try. So just come in from the outside. Not all the way in, just kind of the edges of the wings, really, and up there. And you can make this as dark as or as light as you like. I was just quite pleased with the overall effect, really. I'm hoping it's picking it up on the camera because it does look nice. So it sort of leaves the centre bit, the lighter colour, and then you just come round the edge with your ink. I'm using the Distress ink. You could use Archival, which would be darker again, because the Distress ink's fairly transparent. The Archival ink not so.
Or the Distress Oxide.
Distress Oxide, yeah, once again not transparent, so you'd get a different effect. So I think it probably needs another bit there, being a bit heavy-handed in one place.
To go there, we looked up to the camera and you put the original other one by the side. And we can see.
So you can see the difference there. Oh, I'm going the wrong way. There we are. See the difference it makes. So it's worth it, I think. I quite like it. I like the effect. I like the effect. So I'm just going to do the other one in a similar manner. Thank you. Just finishes them off, and you know, sometimes that's all it needs, just something to finish it off, just to make it look, I say this often but it's true, make it look like you've gone that extra mile. You haven't just cut out this die and plonked it on, you've thought about what you can do with it. And I'm just doing this. You could do loads of things.
Tika says she's Deborah Petralia. She's on your golden book page as well, apparently.
Oh, right, okay. Well, thank you very much for joining us. I like the name Tika. Maybe that isn't her name. Maybe it's her business. Wherever you are from, I appreciate you joining me. I appreciate each and every one of you joining me. This group actually is growing, more and more people, but we're still managing to keep that really lovely spirit that we've got, which I'm so proud of, so proud of. So there we are. I think that's sort of them done. Now then, with that particular die, you get these centre parts which cut out separately, and I've cut mine out with gold paper, not gold. That'd be nice, wouldn't it? And they're going to get stuck, you know, down the centre. And I don't know if they're shining up in the camera, but they are absolutely glossy, matte gloss face. So I'm just going to stick them on. And the reason that I've done them in gold will become apparent in a second. Well, I wanted the blitz. The blitz. The glitz and the bling, which isn't the blitz. So they just stick on there, and they're part of the die set. You get the centre as well as the actual butterflies. And the centre's the same size on both. It's one of those big thick dies that you get, you know, the big foam ones. I don't know what they're called now, can't remember. But they cut really nicely. Sometimes you've got a faddle getting bits out of dies. Those wildflowers, some of those wildflower ones drive you bonkers. But these ones cut beautifully.
Is it Biggs?
Oh yeah, Biggs, that's right. That's them. They're lovely. And the number, in case you are interested, is, hang on till I get the thing on me, Fabri-Tac, is 664166. And it's a Tim Holtz for Sizzix, and it's a Biggs, B-I-G-Z. And the really thick ones, you don't have to use your base plate with them. That's it, it looks like that. It's thick. And it's got the 2 butterflies and the little body. And I love it. It's one of my favourite dies.
And the beauty is the foam pushes the bits out as well.
Yeah, it does. They're so easy. You know, you never have any trouble getting the bits out, which is great. So that's our 2 butterflies. And as I said, the reason that I wanted to do the centres in gold is because I've got these numbers here. Oh, this is them actually. They came in a packet that Mr. F found at a charity shop somewhere. Honestly, has the best finds, really does. But I didn't really want to just use them in the raw sort of chipboard MDF type thing. So I painted them with this. It's actually a fabric glue, but it doesn't make any difference. Lumiere by Jacquard. It's a really, really, I love all the Jacquard stuff. It's real stuff of quality. And this stuff is just, it's talking about doing it on fabric, but you know, it's acrylic paint and it works very well on this. So I just want to put these numbers on here in gold. Decided I'd paint them gold. So we've got a 1, a 2 and a 3. And then my butterflies with the gold centres will kind of coordinate with them. Let me just check on my original book that I haven't done anything else that I've missed out. No. Oh, yeah, that's the only other thing that I decided on this one to put a linen scrap with a stamp on it. But for the one that we've just done, we've used the dies, which I actually really like. I hope you do too. I mean, on these tags, you could easily put a little eyelet is the word, and some dangles. If I was putting dangles, I'd put them in gold because then it would coordinate, I think. I think it would look nice. You all right, Mr. F?
Yes, I was just going to say, you could also stamp the numbers on that match the number of the envelope.
On here?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you could.
So you put them back in the right place every time.
Genius idea. You're full of it today.
Mm-hmm. You say that often. It's just the filler that changes.
No, you have some great ideas. So I'm going to stick my numbers on now, and I'm using E6000. I think you might be all right with Fabri-Tac, but this is a tricky little job. I'm going to do it not on top of my book page, I think is the thing to do. I'm going to use this one that's a bit... I'm just going to remove a little bit of that glue from there. It's a bit too much.
Nancy says with those dies you can cut multiples.
Oh, can you, Nancy?
Like
I didn't.
More than one sheet, I guess.
Yeah.
2 or 3 sheets.
I did not know that.
Depending on thickness.
Thank you for that, Nancy. I didn't know. But I'll be trying it out. Right, so as I predicted, I've got a bit too much glue here, so I'm just going to hold that down, wipe off my excess.
Deborah says Tika is a dog, and so's Nico and Luca. So it's made up of the dogs' names.
Thanks for explaining that. We're not the world's fastest, are we, Mr. F?
No.
We get by. We struggle along.
BFIs.
Barely functioning idiot. Yes. I shall never forget the day he called me that. And he said it like it was some sort of compliment. So this time I'm trying to put less of this glue on, this E6000. That's the glue that I use when I'm putting gems on things. It's a strong, strong glue. And I would advise, if you have chest problems, maybe not to use it, or use it somewhere that really is well ventilated. It's quite a fumey sort of glue. I have asthma, and I can, I'm aware that I'm using it. So that's that one down. I like Mr. F's idea of putting numbers on here. Probably going to have to do that now. Just to echo the numbers on the pockets. So it's amazing what you can... Oh, don't do that. It's amazing what you can get out of envelopes, isn't it? Really. If you put your mind to it. So let's just pop that there. Now this E6000 doesn't dry instantly. It's not a fast grab, stayed in one place thing. You've just got to be careful not to knock it. It's going to have to get a wet wipe at that because I don't want... So this is a wet wipe. I just don't want that E6000 to set on there, or I'll never get rid of the blooming stuff. So there we go. So it is now a question of sticking our butterflies on, and then I think we're there. So where did I stick them on the other one? Let's have a look and see. I put one there and one down here. Now, let's have a look at what we want. Quite like the idea of one being up there, really, and this one maybe being on that. Yeah, I've got this area here, so I probably am going to have to stick with that one down there. I don't know where to put it. If I put it there, it's probably going to be all right because that's card. So it's not too floppy, but I am asking for trouble. So maybe move that up a bit. Oh, I don't know. Right, that's going there for sure. Tail of his thing's just going on to that point of that corner, the sewing. And that I'm going to put there, I think. I like that. Let me just see if I moved it across, what I'd think of it. It all becomes in a bit of a line then, doesn't it? Yeah, no, I'm going to stick with what I said, have that bit of his body there. Now, if you had any dimensional stuff, tape or whatever, this might be a good time to use it underneath his wing here and here and here, because I'm going to stick this on, it's going to go flat. But if you had dimensional tape, you could hold him just above the paper, which would look really, really nice. I haven't got any, so I'm just saying what I would do if I had. And if you've got some, that's what I would recommend. So I hope you've enjoyed today's tutorial. Each week it will be something completely different. We're not following along a journal, we're not following along like the little golden book series or anything like that. It will literally be a page or a process that I think you will enjoy and that you'll be able to use in your own journals. Of course, you may wish to change them somewhat. That's the joy of junk journaling. You take an inspiration from somewhere and you change it up in your own head for your own journal. It would never do if everything was, if we all did exactly the same thing. But hopefully the bits that I give you will be enough to inspire you to go on and do something in your own journal. I'm going to leave that not stuck because I like it like that. This must be my drawing wipe. I don't know if I can stand it not stuck. I was going to put another little bit of glue in there and stick it down. It's just going to annoy me. So there we are. That's him stuck down nicely, and that's going to go there. I like that there. So I have personally finished my little golden book. Actually, I tell a lie. I haven't done the tags for Sunday's version of it. If you're wondering what we're talking about, we've been doing a series where we've been altering a little golden book, and it's for absolute beginners. So if you've never junk journaled before and you've somehow stumbled across this channel, we've got this series called Little Golden Book for Absolute Beginners, and it really is. We take it apart, we build it up again with extra pages in for us to add pockets and stuff like that, and it's been huge fun. We've all really enjoyed it, I think. But we've come to an end of that one now. It's completed. And we're going to do a Christmas one, but we're going to have a break in between because we don't want to get all little golden booked out, do we? But the Christmas one will be not particularly for beginners. I mean, I'm sure beginners can follow, but more just your ordinary everyday stuff. So there we go. That is our page done. It's a nice page. I like it a lot. As I say, if you haven't got the dies for here, use a stamp. Stamp it around there. If you haven't got the dies for the butterflies, go onto Pinterest, find some butterflies, blow them up on in Word, print them out and cut them out, and you'll have large butterflies. So that'll be no problem either. So I hope you've enjoyed today for this very first Tuesday tutorial. I will see you as ever on Saturday on this channel at 2 o'clock UK time, where I will be doing something else. I don't know yet what that may be. Oh, I do know Mr. F is starring, I think, on Saturday. He's doing the spine for the little golden book up to a point where it needs to be set aside to dry, and then I shall slip in seamlessly and take over and do something. So that's the excitement for Saturday. Mr. F first up. Okay, so I'll see you then. Thanks for joining us. Thanks very much. Bye.
Bye.